probably having a time of your life, okay? So like I said, buckle up, Buttercup. We're about to go live with Kris with a K, who I'm sure is going to drop some love, truth bombs, and everything. Thank you, Carissa. Okay, Kris with a K, getting them logged on to the Zoom so we can live record this for YouTube. Okay. Is going to drop some love, truth bombs, and everything. Hi. Okay. Kris with a K. Turn this volume down so it doesn't go with that. Hello. Okay, so I'm so happy that Kris has set an alarm. Kris with a K. This is gonna be epic. They're getting set up. So cute. You can't handle it. If you have any questions for them, we're gonna be talking about so many things: spiritual self-publishing, just probably many downloads from Mercury retrograding Cancer, maybe he's talking some spiritual consent, boundaries, ancestral trauma. I can't be prepared for what's going to come up, but it's probably going to be a lot. And Kris, let me know if you need anything. I turned the volume down on my iPad also, so it wouldn't feedback. But if you need anything,
I was trying to figure out, I was like, should I do the IG or should I just do the Zoom? Because there's like a slight lag on my Instagram. So
yes. Well, I might just like, I know there's always a little lag on the Instagram. We can just talk through this and just have it here too. And I can keep an eye on the comments and stuff for you. I will moderate for you.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. Do you want to join on? Hi, watch us figure out our technical things. Do you want to join on here so people can hang out with you and you just won't look at it? You look at the iPad.
Yeah.
I literally threw Kris a curveball like 5 minutes ago. I was like, I think we should film on Zoom too, because I just had this download that whatever Kris is about to say, we're gonna need to live for more than just 24 hours on IGT, and I can never download the videos when I go live with someone else. Okay, so hi, there you are.
Oh, now it's working in real time. Now I'm just hearing you twice.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna turn down the volume on my iPad. Amazing. Look at us go.
Technology is like
me neither. I'm like, is it feedback in there for you?
Oh, I'm hearing some like, do you hear that?
Mm-hmm. It's like we're going through a portal. We can take it off the Zoom, maybe, and just do Instagram then.
Okay. Maybe like Zoom can be the one to just hear it.
Yeah.
I was like, I appreciate it, I guess, Spirit.
Okay, move away from the mic. Thank you. Jessica is our mega Aquarius who actually understands technology.
Okay. So I guess now Zoom is for the records, but we're talking through here.
Zoom is for the records. We're talking through here.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Whew. How are we doing today? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I guess I'm feeling kind of somber today. So I guess this is like off of anything that I've like been talking about lately, but one of the trees that we have in our backyard, we have 2 trees, crabapple and peaches. And when I first moved in here, like crabapple wasn't doing really well. So I was out there like doing healing work with crabapple. Now crabapple's doing great. And then I was just like, peaches apparently just started getting eaten by termites, just has not like been doing well. And just has been struggling. So I've been like, okay, so now I'm gonna like start coming out here to do work with peaches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then today it's just like peaches is just not doing well, and it's was just a lot on my heart this morning.
I love your heart. I love your heart. It's so open. And I know we've talked a little bit about your peaches and crab apple tree, and you were gonna go speak some love on them a few weeks ago when we were talking.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just like there's 2 sides to that kind of work. There's 2 sides to like being open-hearted, you know. And I think it's like, on the one hand, people kind of like love the love and the light and the, oh, this feels great, and the stuff like that, and don't know that it's like, those are like skills that you end up having to cultivate to handle how much of this comes with it, you know. Like, I don't like, even watching trees die in front of me, like, really affects me, you know what I mean? I didn't become a shaman because somebody trained me. I became a shaman because the earth saw that I loved her. And so, could let me just introduce you to all these elemental spirits. So I don't, it really affects me when the earth suffers, and it affects me when the earth has to sustain suffering too. And I think that's kind of a level of things that we forget in terms of the cosmic shifts that are taking place, is that part of it is that the earth has said no more to a lot of things, and the earth is like trying to purge of a lot of things right now. And that requires like any inhabitant of the earth to, as within, so without. It's not just as like above, so below, it's as within, so without, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not holding space for trees that aren't doing well and stuff like that, it's like every, you know, life form is so important. And yeah, I keep in really good humor and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that I don't get affected by these things on a lot of levels. And it's like, I guess even being a death doula and just having a really functional relationship with the dead, like having conjure in my ancestry, like as a resistant tool and stuff like that. It's like, even knowing on certain levels, like there are these cycles, there are these necessary processes and stuff like that. It's just, that doesn't really take away the grief necessarily, you know what I mean? That doesn't take away like the need to heal and to acknowledge how things affect you. I wasn't expecting to just get on here and start crying.
Welcome, Instagram, to our conversation. Real life, you know, this is the time to feel into things deeply, and this is what you're feeling. There's no point in coming on and just being like, our bullet points of conversation. This is important. I always say that whatever you coming through you is exactly what we need to hear right now. You are a very clear and open channel. So this might be our medicine and our reminder when we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that you're working on and really amazing things to educate and empower and heal us. But also, like, this is really important. Like, as above, so below. But as, what do you say? As within, so without.
As within, so without. Also, as in, you know, there's an equal amount of inner work. There's an equal amount of thought revolution. There's an equal amount of like unpacking your shit and recognizing that, like, if you incarnated here and you see something without you, it's done with anything.
That's good.
So
write that down, everybody. That's why I said get your pen and paper out. That's good. That's really important.
Yeah. I'm a little bit out the box in terms of, I guess, like the things that I spiritually channel for the people who haven't like met me before. But mainly because it's like, when I feel like sometimes even amongst like the spiritual wisdom that gets circulated, like it can become dogmatism, and with dogmatism becomes like an erasure of other things, and it becomes this erasure of inviting like new and different wisdom and stuff like that. And I feel like if you don't like kind of like recognize the spiritual journey on a lot of levels as, oh shit, so everything up until this point was false, like everything up until this point was fucked up, like including like behaviors, like it's fucked up and I've been doing it, and now I have to like course correct, you know, like it's like, it's just like, that's a part of like any up leveling. It's just like, now we're gonna like tear away everything that you tried to build yourself on, because there's this whole other like layer of truth that you now need to integrate into your being as well. And I feel like that's like everybody at this point, like it's alchemy on all levels is like really necessary to navigate things in ways that like really seek the highest possible outcomes, you know? And I think a lot of the spiritual bypassing that gets done with that is kind of like, no, I'm in a frilly world.
I've done my work.
Sparkles and unicorns, and it's like, you know, I've connected to like a lot of those worlds too. However, it's almost like it's part of the divide and the neglect that goes on between the things that happen in like the celestial realms and the underworld that we also watch get manifested in oppressive systems. You know, it's like, it's not just like a singular part of the cosmos. There is like a huge collective reckoning like taking place. There is like just a huge amount. I said it in the Saturn and Venus retrograde channel. There's a huge amount of soul contract rearranging. So it's like, yeah, you might have to, like, as a white person, you might have to start carrying some generational karma that the Black community has had to hold that's been undue. I said this to you yesterday. It's like this disproportionate distribution of trauma that is keeping these systems alive because it's feeding the spirit of the colonizer. So it's like you as a white person then have to recognize, so I have to kill the colonizer spirit in me. Like I have to starve that in me. And that's a part
and it's not comfortable to starve.
You can't really, you know? And so I feel like on the one hand, it's like, in terms of a lot of white like workers who are kind of trying to like dismiss certain things or police Black rage and things like that in this time, it's like you're showing that you have some spiritual work to do now for me in terms of learning how to actively listen, in terms of learning how to acknowledge your shadows, in terms of acknowledging the ways that you've projected things onto Black people, in terms of acknowledging, you know, the fact that like the reason that there's Black people shouting this shit right now is because we've had to repeat ourselves for too many goddamn centuries. So it's like, at some point, there has to be some accountability for how little listening has been taking place and how little active listening has been taking place, and not just actively listening, but listening to course correct your actions. And so it's kind of just like, it's like, yeah, in terms of like the ancestral realm right now, it's a whole lot of pissed off ancestors that are like, y'all can't keep doing this shit. And missing these points, you know, and missing the ways that you're not protecting Black women, protecting Black trans people, you know, and missing the ways that microaggressions are emotionally harmful, which kills the spirit, like, and missing the ways that like, these are the things that like people have to get off their chest right now. And I think one of the things that it's like, I really feel on a subconscious level is in terms of like just having to deal with white people and educating white people and shit. Number one, it's like anytime you have to repeat yourself, it's kind of exhausting, right? But number two, it's been a lot of like, I don't know, like, okay, so we need to establish boundaries for how we're going to do this, because it's like you're not entitled to anything from a Black person right now. Like, you inherited a karmic debt, like a centuries-long karmic debt. So it's like part of your deal when you incarnated here was to sit back and listen and figure out how you can be doing better. And for Black people, I feel like it's the opposite, where it's like we have to learn how to voice our rage, and we have to not hold ourselves back at this time. You see what I'm saying? Because part of this process is us freely expressing and freely existing and us cultivating our joy and stuff like that. Like, I'm not handing this to my children, you know, like I'm tearing this shit down and I'm making something else. Like, it's not gonna carry with me, you know? And so I feel like it's just kind of like, before any kind of healing or reconciliation or anything that a lot of people who like to blanket things in oneness and shit like that, like, have to take place, it's like, first, we need a massive amount of confrontation, inner and outer. You see what I'm saying? Black rage brings change. And that's the reason that so many of these companies are like, oh no, Black Lives Matter. Don't burn me down. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Hashtag
why?
beyond.
If the collective Black rage that's just been sitting under the surface because we are loving and kind people who still be looking out for and taking care of communities blanket, this shit would have burned down 500 years ago. It would have gone back in time. There would have just been fires erupting. So it's like, part of, I feel like the reason that I've just been like, okay, so basically just whatever I'm feeling, I just need to let it out right now, is because it's like I don't like feeling like I have to watch Black people feeling like they have to tone police themselves right now. They can't really say what the fuck they're feeling right now. They can't say the way things are affecting them right now, because half of what they're like responsible to do is like educate and stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like a big part of education is sitting back and listening. And Black people having the freedom to express what they need to express right now. Because it's like, it's an ancestral thing, like the voices of the ancestors rose up in this already. Any explosions, revolutions, and shit like that we're seeing down here is a product of like these ancestors who have been saying fuck this shit for a while now, who have been laying plans for a while now, who seeded us to manifest into existence for a long while now. So I really am not, now we're just in a free channel. But yeah, so I kind of feel like the trap of performance sometimes, and I say this like as a performer, like the trap of performance sometimes can be like telling yourself that there's no room for like your authenticity and things like that. And I feel like it's just kind of like there's just been so much suppressed that now needs an open floor, you know? And it's like there's folks who have been living very comfortably in their privilege, and it's like it's almost like, oh, this is like brand new and stuff like that. And everybody comes into their awareness at like different times, don't get me wrong, but part of what you have to start doing then is unpacking, how the fuck have I missed this up until now? Why did it take this? Why did it take this for me to start doing this? Like, why did it take this for me to start realizing I can use my platform in this way? Why did it, like, just like, those things in terms of unpacking the ways that, like, entitlement has essentially like created ignorance, you know? And so, yeah, a lot of what like I focus on a lot of the times is alchemy, because it's like, we really have to start validating the emotional and spiritual effects of these things, or there can be no healing, or there can be no reconciliation, or there will be none of this frilly shit that some people like to spiritually bypass these things away with. So it's just kind of like, this is not really a time where like you're allowed to like project certain things onto Black people anymore. Like there's no ancestors having that, you know? And in terms of even like my white ancestors, because I have some fucked up white ancestors in my lineage and shit like that. And it's just super interesting because a lot of them don't realize it's like your karma comes in the form of having descendants like me sometimes. Because even just within my own ancestral home, it's like I've had to deal with a lot of confrontation and shit like that. Because the only thing that they can agree on sometimes is me. And so from that place, it's just like, okay, so boom. So in terms of just like this entire revolution, it's just like, number one, it's like Black women are the oracle. So it's like any violence that you allow against Black women right now is violence against your sight into liberation. So, and that includes Black trans women. Like, that is that ancient divine feminine guidance, and they need to feel protected. And not just in terms of having internet conversations and stuff like that, but in terms of, are you course correcting to where you need to act? In terms of having internet conversations and stuff like that, but in terms of, are you course correcting? Trans people don't need to feel like it's our job to validate our existences right now. We've been in the streets building revolution for years now. We've been in the streets building revolution for years. And that's a large part of the reason that I'm not necessarily like a whole bunch of other like spiritual people, because I come out of like these actual communities, like at the bottom, I come from the grassroots of certain things. So when you come at me at a certain intellectual level about certain shit, recognize that while I can talk you down on those points, oh shit,
Kris, we had an internet.
I guess Instagram's trying to
Instagram,
like,
too much truth for Instagram. We're gonna go back live. It was like just freezing towards the end, so I'm gonna retry and it booted me off. So I'm gonna retry. But you are speaking so much truth right now. This is still gonna go on the YouTube. This is why we have the backup, because Instagram is acting crazy lately. Hold on.
You were foreseeing this issue, so now we can switch to this. Like, you guys can catch the rest on.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna go back on Instagram because you were speaking amazing truths. This is why we're doing this for the Instagram, YouTube, living forever. Let's go live here. Okay. Keep going, mama. You are cutie pie. You are doing amazing. Okay, so how do I, okay, hi. All right, we're gonna try this again. I think the internet can't handle the Kris with the K Oracle channeling, especially during Mercury retrograde, but we're just gonna keep on doing it. We got truth to share. All right. I swear the internet only cuts out when I have like anyone super powerful. Like the internet literally is like, where?
I was like, what a Babylonian institution you are.
Hello.
We're here like, this is getting a little too real.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is the last thing I heard you say, and I just want to repeat it for everyone too, is that Black women are the oracles right now. The Black people are the oracles, and we need to protect them. And I want to just, everything you're saying, but I just want to recap for people. What I'm hearing is like the spiritual bypassing has got to go, because we will just keep, the ancestors are not going to allow us the spiritual bypass anymore. So accountability, shedding, looking at these things, and like you said, starving the inner colonizer inside of us, like worm, a virus, a shadow. Like when we embrace our shadow, we want to like kill off that virus that's just in us. Feel like we're born with it. So I want you to continue on. You were saying, yes, Black women, oracles, listen to them, let them live in joy, create. We start doing this heavy lifting work now that you all have been doing. For, oh, and you were talking about toxic ancestors too.
Oh yeah. Because it's like everybody has to get checked now. This is like a cosmic thing. And yeah, when I say protect Black women, I also mean Black trans women. Like, Black people who came here to embody the divine feminine are the oracles of the revolution, and that's just like not even like a debatable thing at this point. You know, I like so for people who are just seeing me here. So I'm non-binary. My pronouns are they them. It's like the feminine and masculine energies just kind of look like two eyes on one face to me. It's still both my face. So that's the reason that I do not identify as a woman. It's like and I have feminine masculine energy in me that will fuck you up on behalf of folks who fully embody the divine feminine. So there's that too. On behalf but yeah, so what I was saying is also the reason that like it's just like also there needs to be a lot of deference, like the reason that like it's I'm talking like, about like laying down the intellectual sword at the feet of the Black trans community right now. Because Black trans community right now, quite frankly, because I feel like part of this disconnect happens when issues are intellectual to some And it's different.
You're cutting out again when you're speaking such good things.
That you be on the streets with every day, that you see end up in these violent situations, that you see like not knowing how they're going to pay rent right now, that you see like are dealing with these situations with their landlords, and just people abusing their power on all these little micro levels too.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no like not seeing that, not hearing that. There is no not donating. There is no not sharing stuff. There is no not supporting like businesses. It's a karmic debt.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to talk universal laws, like you inherited that and you asked to when you incarnated here. And that's from anybody who's dealing at any point of privilege, like, and that's from as within, so without, like. There is no not digging into this shit anymore. There is no, oh, I just need to like feel better or whatever. Like, it's almost like a collective dark night of the soul is gonna have to happen for people who have been comfortable at any point of privilege right now, because y'all have a responsibility in alchemizing the collective, like the collective reactions to this energy too. You know, and I think it's important that everybody just like recognize where it's like you're not being the proper container, you know, because it's like at this point, you know, people have a responsibility to create space, and it's like we have a responsibility to take up space. People have a responsibility to create space. This will be on YouTube too, but they're just like, they're like,
luckily everyone,
like, the revolution is now.
Yes, and it's not skipping on YouTube. Instagram is like messing with us right now. But you just keep speaking because you're saying I'm hearing every other word. Yes. So this is gonna be on YouTube. I don't know what is going on today.
But yeah, so
but
a good bit of this.
Should we?
I think I guess what I want to tie this back to now, because I'm like, that must mean that like it's time to switch gears.
You know what? We can also just continue to talk on Zoom, on YouTube, and then just like finish it, and we'll just upload it later today for people, because I do want to hear. Okay. Saying, not feel like you're distracted by technology. Is that what feels good to you?
Right.
Should we continue that? Okay. Sorry everyone, but blame on Instagram.
That sounds good.
Get their
that sounds good.
Together.
Also, hi to all my homies
who. Okay, so bye everybody.
Yep. Hi to all my. Love y'all.
Yes. Hi. Yes, and everyone. I'm gonna link to all the KriswithaK stuff, their channel, all their stuff here. But we're gonna continue to chat on YouTube. Check it out later today. Okay. Bye. Okay. So.
Okay.
So it turns out I'm happy we're doing this, because the Instagram was being so weird. So I'm happy we have this.
Yeah, no, it was like, I think you were getting a Piscean urge. Like,
by Piscean urge,
getting a sense that something's gonna fuck with this.
Okay, thank you for being flexible, because I know I called you so last minute to do it, but I was like, get it on YouTube. This is Instagram can't handle this. And I also think that I have weird thoughts about Instagram censoring stuff. Even I don't know if it's a more energetic thing or an actual thing, but okay, let's
it's for sure an actual thing. I watch it happen too many times,
right? Because I'm like, oh, convenient when I'm just on here talking about latte fucking da with people, the internet works. And then now that you're speaking the most truthful thing that I've heard in a minute, in a lifetime, the internet cuts out on Instagram. So convenient. Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you for being so patient with all the technology. Can you just repeat what you were just saying, or whatever's coming up now? Because I want to just continue. I could hear everything you were saying, but Instagram couldn't. So you just said something. Well, you were really talking about, like you're non-binary and how you carry the spirit of the feminine and the warrior, and that how truly like Black women and Black trans women are like the incarnate of the revolutionary energy, and we need to like not just respect them, but like what else we need to do? We need to like support them financially, let them lead, support their art, support their joy. And I just want to commend you for everything you're saying, because I've been watching spiritual bypassing going on in the spiritual community since I learned what that was only 3 or 4 years ago. And I thought that this would be a big wake-up call, like, yeah, we really have been spiritual bypassing. But it's like that like when the parasite gets like threatened and they like dig in deeper. I'm watching things on the internet and I'm like, are you joking? So you know, my intention would be that Black trans women and Black women don't have to do that battling anymore, and that as white presenting people, or anyone white, you know, what that means to you, should be going in and calling this out, because it's literally like, I can feel it in me how cancerous it is, like how it's decaying us from the inside out, these thoughts.
Exactly, because these systems, like, they're meant to keep you spiritually sick. That's the thing. It's like, if you're at a point of privilege, you have a certain amount of comfort in a spiritually sick system, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's why I was saying that, like, it's just being out in like the Black queer community in Atlanta. It's like seeing a whole lot of us who is like, I think people will feel like, oh, this is trendy, this is cute, this is whatever, this has now come into the pop culture vernacular and shit like that. And it's like, we don't create these things to be cute for y'all. It's like, we have to create ways to exist, because nothing around here like benefits us. All these things end up promoting some kind of violence on us, you know? And it's like, it's a spiritual sickness, and like the appropriation even that will go on in the spiritual community, and the all is one, like da-da-da-da-da. I just want to be painfully clear. Your ancestors get the green light or the red light on any kind of like spiritual system that you can be in. It's literally like the kinds of spiritual powers that you have access to is like a matter of your cosmic and your blood lineage, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's not like you could just feel entitled to these things. That's like actually putting your spiritual safety in danger, because you might buck up on the wrong ancestors.
Yes. So this would be like an example of like, you can't just go to a course and pay a couple $1,000s and think you know something, or just start picking up like, oh, I want to start making like hoodoo candles, or I want to be a shaman, or I want to, if you don't feel like it's not something you can just do, especially when it's led by someone who's not even from that background on the earth lineage. Like, I know the spiritual community loves to be like, well, we're all the same, unity consciousness. Like, no, like, it's like, that's not the dimension we're living in right now. It's not all the same.
That's not how things come together, because it's just like, part of that is literally, it's like acknowledging like how the separations function and shit like that. But I don't want to get like way too like into that layer.
That's another talk.
We're talking about like more on the ground earthly stuff right now. But yeah, so I feel like it's just like also a whole lot of alchemy has to take place, like a whole lot of wealth redistribution does have to take place. It's like, and spiritual wealth redistribution, as in a redistribution of the joy and things like that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, at this point, it's almost like some medicine is just bitter, and it's like, it's time for folks to start taking the bitter medicine.
We gotta.
You know, because it's been folks trying to give people the bitter medicine for way too long now, and it's like, they deserve sweetness at this point. Like, and that's the thing of it, is there's a lot of like, oh, the strength of this community and the this and the that and stuff like that. And it's not as though like we don't get battle weary too. It's not as though we don't get banged up in this process. It's not like we don't have feelings. A lot of times we don't even feel open to discuss those things. Like, when a lot of this shit first started happening, I'm seeing like, okay, so there's a lot of white people just like very casually and cavalierly sharing all the Black death and all the Black trauma and all of the this and all of the that, which is for the benefit of other white people. When you start doing shit like that in a way like that, like that's not helping like Black people who have to deal with this reality all the way up until now, you know?
Yes. I invite everyone to Google trauma porn and see how harmful that is, and just don't do that anymore. But just to speak on that.
That's not the only way to awareness raise, and it's like, it's a really harmful way, and it's like, you have to admit the subconscious part of you that kind of gets off on Black trauma. Because it's like, there's a reason that shit like gets you amped up a certain way, and like, well, that will blind you to the harm that you could be doing to these people that you're claiming that you're here for now.
Right.
And again, like what I was saying, it's like the emotional ramifications are meant to kill our spirits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that's meant to just dim our lights, you know, and especially our inner children, because a lot of like the subconscious stuff, it's basically inner child stuff. It's basically like years 1 through 10, like are on reloop somewhere in your brain.
Reloop.
You know what I mean? And so it's like inner child work is not something that's ever done. And I think like one thing specifically within the Black community is like the need for a lot of inner child healing, because battle weariness is when like your inner child's emotional resilience has now been fucked with from all the shit that they've had to see. And for a lot of us, that did happen to us as children. You know, for a lot of us, these are things like the first time I probably experienced overt racism, I was 4. And this girl actually convinced all the Black girls or the white girls not to play with me. And my mom said she got there and I was sitting in the window looking at the birds, and I said, I don't like them because they're Black and I'm Black and nobody here will play with me because I'm Black. Oh, so it's like, these aren't even some of the more ignorant shit, like that shit hasn't just like stopped, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's really important that like that shit gets framed specifically for healers, like around all the healing that's necessary. And part of that healing is just like bringing up the conflict. There's no conflict resolution if people don't feel like they can't freely voice their grievances and that of their ancestors. There's no reason that they should have to feel like they have to bury that shit inside right now.
No. And this is, we can all handle this. Like, to my fellow white women, especially spiritual white women who are watching this, like, conflict is good. And do not tone police any Black woman, Black man, Black trans individuals, Black anyone from, do not take away. We need to hear the anger, rage, the grief, the despair. We need this, and we can handle it. Like, we're strong. You can do it. And if you're not strong, you'll get strong. That's how we get strong. But this is part of the cleansing. It has to come out. It has to come out so we can heal, and so we can really understand how toxic and poisonous this behavior is that we've been either complicit in. It's in our ancestry, in our DNA, earth and spiritual DNA. And also, like, this is, we all know this. If you consider yourself any kind of spiritual person, you know shadow work. You know how this goes. So don't sit there and tell me that you don't know how shadow work goes. Like, the suppressing of that, how unhealthy that is, and how that does not do any healing. Like, I like, as a white woman, I'm like I get like shaking angry because the gaslighting that happens, the tone policing, and it's just this willful ignorance. And listen, while one of us is oppressed, you are oppressing yourself right now. And that's like, the joke is on you, and the fucking, all the shit that comes with that is on you, boo. And like, this space to hold this, it's a gift and it's a privilege and it's an honor to do this work, because we are death dueling collectively, the old. So just get over it. I'm sorry, everyone, just get over yourselves, white women. Like, you're not the victim here. This is not about you. And just be honored that you're incarnated during this time and you get to be part of this. Like, I just feel so in awe and blessed. And granted, I started this work, I had all of the triggers, don't get me wrong. But like, then I sat back and I was like, this is a gift to be alive right now. This is a gift to let these Black educators teach me, and to sit and to hold this space for them to like release this and not feel like that story from you from 4 years old is fucking heartbreaking. Like, that is fucking heartbreaking. But it's like, yes, give it to me. Give me that. I can handle that. Like, I want to hear that, and I want to hear everything, so that way I know to be better and raise my children to be better and call things out. So just to my women watching this, like, just be better. Like, just do it. Like, it's not cute. It's not spiritual. It's nothing. It's just, we all know, we saw the Me Too movement a few years ago, and we saw all the things. If you're a white woman, you saw the things men did. Oh, not all men, or like this, that. You're doing the same shit right now. I'm sorry. So just check yourself. But we have like 10 minutes left on a call, but I want to hear about, you have so many, we're gonna have to come on again. Everything you're saying. I'm so happy this is recorded, but like, what else do you want to, I want to talk a little bit about your course just because.
Yes, I do want to talk about that because that's
This
been
is medicine.
like, having so much fun making slides. The college student in me has been having a blast again. I was like, I forgot how much I forgot making presentations. But I am doing a spiritual self-publishing course. I'm a self-published author as well. I have a book of poetry called Love Letters. You can find the pre-order link on my Instagram bio because I'm pretty sure the next set of copies are coming on the Ring of Fire eclipse.
Of course, it's beautiful. It's a gift. It's an oracle.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, it was just like that project was number one, a lot of inner child healing and just like having to figure out how I need to live my life in a way that's loving with my inner child, because I had been doing a whole bunch of like this crazy spiritual shit and stuff like that, doing all this death doula work, making deals, like peace deals with demons, like all this kinds of crazy shit.
Casual.
Getting them all, putting their rehabilitation plans together and shit. And then like, at the conclusion of all that, it's like, damn, a lot of this has been really traumatic for my inner child who went through a lot of trauma already. So it's just like, I was already starting this like with a whole lot of unpacking to do and stuff. And so I had to figure out how to like pull a whole lot of things together. Number one, that like I needed to like cultivate some abundance. Number two, that it's like I have to find like creative ways to alchemize stuff, because otherwise it's like my shadows get kind of out of control. Like I'll knock all this shit over for real, and people don't like. It's like I have control over that side of me, but I know how that side of me gets. So
I love it.
I'm like, there's certain times where I'm like, y'all wouldn't want me at this event, like, because there might be a part of me that comes out that y'all are not ready to see.
Yeah, you might not want to. Are you ready for this? I love it.
And so, yeah, spiritual self-publishing is basically going to be like, I'm going to kind of break down how to create like a spiritual and an earthly like framework to just use your energy. Like you don't have to use a publishing company, don't have to use this or that. Just use your energy to like essentially like manifest like layers of healing and transmutation and abundance like for yourself. So it's like almost like taking the healing that you have to do, taking like the fact that you're a spiritual consciousness with a message on this planet, taking the fact that you're a person who has to deal with this shit too, and like making all those like one task. In terms of like channeling it into a book. And then of course like technical stuff about how I had to do that, because I have a lot of like years of experience as like a writer and editor, marketer and stuff like that. So I also have some like just bones. But
the practical and the magical always, just the bones, all the stuff that blocks you from doing it. Kris is here to help you open and flow. I really, I would like to offer, actually, I'll DM you about this. I don't know if you're doing scholarship spots, but your work is very affordable, I will say. Like, I was like, oh, Kris at the gate. It's very affordable. I would like to maybe like sponsor a spot if you have that. Like,
I was like, I had it in the back of my head that you must have heard me in the Akashic. We talked about it in the
We
Akashic.
always have our Akashic conversations. I literally cannot remember what we talk about on the earth plane. So like today,
like I swore we talked about this word.
We talked about this. Oh, we talked about it in the astral realm. Okay, but now we're on earth. Okay. I would like to, personally open up a scholarship spot, and then also from the Cosmic Revolution. So we'll do 2 scholarship spots for, this is what we need. We need, if you are, I want to open it up, as I'm sure you have in your community, but I would love to open it to Black trans individuals or just Black femme identifying individuals, Black women, because like, we need your voice, and it's very healing for you. I'm sure as you experience the alchemy that happens, like you're healing yourself and others. And the publishing world has so much bullshit and so much red tape associated with it. And I love that you're teaching people how to bypass that. This is good bypassing, y'all. And then like bring your message and your truth out, and we'll live there. A book it lives beyond you, you know. It's so beautiful. So I think that this is exactly what the world needs right now. And I really want to celebrate that healing and that joy and that creativity, not just, you know, honoring the people who've lost their lives. I want to like encourage people to like celebrate Black, trans, and Black lives, like while they're here. Read their art, read their words. So that is amazing. We'll link to all of that in this YouTube comments to your course. And anything else that you want to share? I mean, we're gonna have to come on and talk again, because like I know you. We're just scratching the tippy top of the surface, but this is very important, everything you shared today. So thank you.
For sure. Thank you so much for opening up the scholarship spots. I did have in the back of my mind that I was thinking like maybe I should announce something like that for Juneteenth. So it's very funny. But like you're just like, oh yeah, we talked about this already somewhere else, a different dimension of us. Hash that out.
They had like coffee and lunch and we're talking about it up in the Akashic room.
Yeah. Well, for the next 7 days, I am doing future action and outcome readings again, too. So if you want some like on the ground kind of channeled advice about what you need to be doing in this time as well, I'm literally just doing that for a week. It was like this beginning leg of the Mercury retrograde. It's like you can revisit something you used to do that I think people might need right now, said the universe. So I'm doing that. I'm really, really excited for this class and just to really like just make a different blueprint for how some of these thoughts can like really be transmitted into the world right now. Really, really amped up for that. And I have something else that I'm cooking up for September that I'll probably be announcing after I'm done with the class, because one thing at a time. But if you are like interested in how you can do more listening and how you can contribute more and stuff like that, I do have like some opportunities coming. And if you are like a Black person who really needs to give some voice and like have a space where you feel safe and free to express in that way, then hit me up, because I plan on just like compensating any Black person who's involved in like this project. So
I love it. So many opportunities, so much.
Right. Cosmic reparations. Thy name is Kris with a K.
Cosmic. And just so we know, that's Cosmic with a K, with a Z. Exactly. Cosmic reparations. Thy name is Kris with a K. Thank you. Thank you for your work. I'm going to link, everyone can find Kris at KriswithaKcreates on Instagram. And we're going to link to, your spiritual self-publishing course in the comments here. But just thank you. And thank you for being so real and just being an open channel. You're just, to me, I know, I feel it in my bones when someone is just connected in to that truth. So thank you. I know it takes a lot of work to get to that space of openness and trusting and vulnerability though. So I just want to really like bow and like deeply honor that within you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for having me. And thank you to everybody who was watching on Instagram that they just decided that it got too real.
It got too real, but we're still here, baby. Oh, Kris with a K, you are just magnificent and a miracle. So go be good to yourself. Go love on the tree if you need my support with that, or need to do any sort of grieving ritual or anything, you reach out to me, okay?
Thank you, Madi. I love you.
I love you. All right, I'll talk to you soon in the Akashic and the Earth realm.
Right.
I'll see you around. Bye.